Hello everyone! Welcome to episode 9 of Survival Life, my Minecraft tutorial series. As always, this is Unlikely Waffle. Today we are going to die. No, we are not going to kill ourselves. Instead, we are going to be working with dyes and wool. Let's get started. Actually, first, I have all these chests, but they're kind of unorganized right now because I can't tell what's inside of them. So I want to make some signage to label them with. We do that by putting one stick on the bottom middle like this. I'm going to be doing several, so I will be putting 8. And then we put planks all above it like that. And that gives us signs. And then I just want to put that in my hotbar. And normally, you would click right click to place it anywhere on the ground or walls. However, it doesn't really work on these chests because they will just open. So the way we do that is just by holding shift and right clicking on it with the sign. Alright, so this one is wood. So I will do wood and wood products. There we go. That works. This one over here is weapons and tools, so I will label it like that. This one is metal. Oops. This one here is gems. And this is cobblestone and dirt. There we go. That works for now. And this one I know is food. And finally, gardening stuff. Alright, so as you saw there, I actually found a desert and a jungle biome. Finally, they were way off in the distance, but I was able to get melons and cactus. We want to plant the melon out there. I already have the patch all ready for it. The way we do that is you just take your melon slices, put them in your inventory, and you get melon seeds, just like you did for the pumpkins. So let's go out there and plant that. And remember, just like the pumpkins, you want to only plant it on one side so that it can grow over onto this patch. There we go. That's good enough for now. Soon you'll see those grow up. And because I also found cactus, I have added it to my sugarcane area. Cactus does not need any water whatsoever. It will just grow right on sand. It will grow only on sand. And just like the sugarcane, it will grow up to about 3 or 4 blocks. Trouble with cactus is, if you walk into it, it hurts you. Not a lot, but a bit. And also, if you throw anything at it, it immediately gets destroyed. So be very, very careful about that. About throwing stuff at it. Alright, now on to dyes, our main topic of the day. There are 16 dyes in the game. Blue, which is lapis lazuli, which we just got from the ravine the other day. Cactus green, which we get from cactus. And the way we get the green dye out of the cactus is we come up here and we put that in our furnace with some fuel. I don't have any fuel on me, so I'm not going to be able to do that, but once it's smelted, then it will produce the green dye. Ink sacs, which are black, you get those from the squid, just killing them. Bone meal, which as you remember we get from bones. Rose red, cocoa beans, which is brown. Dandelion yellow, which is yellow, obviously. Then we also have cyan, purple, pink, gray, lime, light blue, orange, magenta, and light gray dyes. These ones are all the main primary colors, meaning that you need to obtain them from outside sources. You can't mix any of the other colors here to get these ones, whereas with all of these ones, you have to mix the primary colors to get them. Although some of them you can get other ways, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And light gray and magenta are both intermediate colors, tertiary colors if you will, because those ones you have to get from mixing the secondary colors and the main colors. Alright, so for the main colors, the way we get those is rose red. It comes from poppies, red tulips, and rose bushes. Yellow comes from sunflowers and dandelions. Bone meal comes from bones, obviously. Cactus green comes from cactus. Lapis lazuli, black ink, and cocoa beans. You can just use those ones as they are, whereas the other ones you have to process to get the dye out of them. Now for the secondary colors. The way you mix those is cyan is mixed with green and blue. Red and white make pink, obviously. This is all kindergarten stuff, so this should not be too hard to figure out. Rose red and yellow get orange. Green and white get lime. Black and white get gray. Blue and red are purple. And blue and white are light blue. And now we move on to the tertiary colors. Bone meal and gray dye make light gray. And magenta is made from pink and purple. Pretty easy stuff right there. Now, as I mentioned, some of these colors you can actually get from other flowers, like these ones. Orange, you can get that either by mixing the yellow and red, or you can use the orange tulip. Magenta comes from allium flowers. Light blue dye comes from blue orchids. Pink comes from peonies, pink tulips, and lilacs. And light gray comes from white tulips. Azure bluette, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it for now. And oxeye daisies. Also, there are some special flowers, like the sunflower, rosebush, and the lilac. Let's grab those out of our chest. Because when they're planted, they are all 2 blocks tall, unlike all the other flowers which are only 1 block tall. And these ones are also quite special because you can bone meal them. And those will produce infinite amounts of those flowers. Whereas all the other flowers, you harvest them and that's all you get. You don't get any extras. Now, with the dandelions and the poppies, you can easily get those just by bone mealing the ground around you, and it'll pop up a lot of tall grass, as well as 1 or 2 dandelions and 1 or 2 poppies. Alright, so then what can we do with dyes? Well, the most common usage of dyeing is for wool and clay. However, clay is for a different episode. Let's come over here to our sheep farm. I have done some work with it since the last time we saw it, whereas only 4 sheep were over there. As I said, I wanted to clear out this other area, and so I have, and I've already made paddocks for all the sheep. Because there are 16 different colors, I have made 16 different paddocks, 1 color for each sheep. But that's getting a little bit ahead of myself. The way we can do dyes is we grab some wool and cyan, and come up to the crafting table and put the cyan in the center. You can use whatever color you want, I'm just using cyan. And then blocks of wool on the side, and that gives you colored wool. But that's quite expensive because it's 1 piece of dye for every block of wool. So, the way that we can get infinite amounts of all these different colors of wool is instead to dye the sheep. Sheep naturally come in white, most likely, but they will also come in gray, light gray, black, as well as pink occasionally. And so let's grab all of these dyes. Hello? Where did you come from? Nope, none of these gates are open. Who are you? Anyways, on to the dyeing. Like I said before, you can dye the sheeps themselves to get infinite amounts of each of these different colors of wool. So for instance, we want these guys to be red, so all we do is take our dye and right click on them. And that dyes the sheep the color of the dye that you used on it. It's permanent, but it does not hurt them at all. Aha! I found you. Alright, I'm just going to dye you purple for now. How did you get out of there? And these dyes override the color of the wool that the sheep already has. Which means if you go with a black one, let's come over here to the black one. And say for instance you wanted to dye the black sheep magenta, not a problem. And it'll just override that completely. If you breed sheep that are dyed 2 different colors, the baby will then be the byproduct of those colors. For instance, if you bred a yellow sheep and a red sheep, the baby would then be orange. However, if you had 2 colored sheep whose colors did not have a viable combination, then the baby would be the color of one of those parents, chosen at random. And also, if you tried to dye a sheep the same color that it already is, then it will not use the dye at all. And there we go, all of the sheep are dyed in different colors. Now we have 2 sheep of each color. Although some of them are kind of mixed up, so I will deal with that later. Now, we can actually come over here and grab our shears. And now we can harvest these guys' wool. You'll notice that when I harvest it, no matter what the color is, when you get back. And when they're sheared, they look like they turn back to white. That's completely normal. That's how they all look when they're sheared. But when the wool grows back, it will still be the same color that you dyed it. And when they eat the grass, that's when their wool will grow back. As long as I keep these sheep alive, they will give me colored wool forever. And now I have a bunch of dyed wool. There are a few things you can do with wool. Of course, you can just place it as a regular block. It is highly flammable, so keep it away from lava and fire if you can. You can also make squares of carpet out of it, as well as paintings. Both of these I will demonstrate when I build the house. In 1.8, we will also get a new use for them as banners. Alright, so there you saw it. One of the gray sheep that was sheared ate some grass, and its wool immediately grew back. Notice how it is still gray too. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had a good time. If you liked it, please leave a like and comment, and I will see you next time. So long, everyone.